Hello, good morning everyone. Thanks for joining us once again at the grand stage in Shanghai, the venue for snooker's Shanghai Masters. This is the second of this season's world ranking events, and the games Great and Good are here in China, chasing a top prize of £52,000. You see there defending champion Dominic Dale, but he went out in the first round. We're down now to the last 16, so at the end of the day we'll have the 8 men left for the quarter-finals. That is the draw. Steve Davis up against Dave Harrold, Neil Robertson against Ricky Walden, Marco Fu, Andy Hicks, and the match we'll be watching very shortly here live on Eurosport is Mark Selby against Mark King. Those 4 matches being played in the opening session here, so Selby King is first for us. And as we go further down the draw, the matches in the second session. Our live match will be Ronnie O'Sullivan, the world champion, against Joe Perry. And it's field full of quality, as you see. Stephen Maguire, world number 2, up against Stuart Bingham. Ryan Day against John Higgins. And Mark Williams against Jamie Cope. Jamie Cope, of course, had that walkover because Graham Dott broke his arm playing football. So Graham Dott on the way back home for an operation. And hopefully he'll be back in time for the Grand Prix in a couple of weeks' time. But that is the lineup. We can join the live pictures now in the arena here. Mark Selby and Mark King just getting underway in the first frame. It's first to 5 who will go through to the quarterfinals. The winner will play either Marco Fu or Andy Hicks. It's an interesting match, this, because the World Championship last year, Mark Selby went to the Crucible as second favourite behind Ronnie O'Sullivan to win the title, but he lost in the first round, and he lost in the first round to Mark King. So, Mike Allett, maybe a bit of revenge on the cards here today.
Yes, I would think so, and as much that we know how much that Mark Selby has improved over the last 12 months or so, but as we've already know, that Mark King is a very, very tenacious player, and he's difficult to beat. So, and he'll be up for this, no doubt about that. As you mentioned, that one result actually in the World Championship, but there's 2, as we know, head-to-heads. It's 2-0 to Mark King at the moment, head-to-heads. So, yes, one to look forward to, and I think the betting has actually got Mark Selby favourite, obviously 11-4 on Mark King at 2-1 against. But this man can beat anybody in the game on his day. Travels well, and he knows that Mark Selby has been playing very well of late, and he'll need to bring his A game here. Well, it's this morning for us, of course it's afternoon for these boys in Shanghai.
3.
Got a red there to the right corner pocket. Might be able to hold. Well, he's playing the one just above. I thought he was playing the straightaway, but the one above the black. Try to hold for the black.
4.
And he caught the other red. He's out of position. He was hoping to come through the gap with the cue ball.
Mark King,
safety.
4.
Should have made more of that from that position. Yes, the form book, David, says that a Mark Selby win, but the head-to-heads don't.
Well, he played well in the previous round, Selby. He had 5 breaks of over 70 to beat Judd Trump 5-1 in no time at all. King came through 5-4 over Jimmy White to book his place in the last 16. But Mark Selby will know, not least from those 2 previous matches, how tough a player King is. Very difficult player to beat. And Selby will have to be on his game. But as we've seen, he can play both sides of the game, Selby. He can attack, but he can also tough it out in the tactical exchanges as well.
I think he's attacking here. 2-ball plant to the right corner. Oh, well. Had to go in. He was bound to leave something on the table, I should say. Yes, he does. Yeah, he mixes it very well, Mark Selby, now. And hence, that's why he's up in the top echelons of the game. Mark Selby at number 4 in the world. Mark King started the season in the top 16 at number 15, down to number 18. So he'd like to have a run here and get himself back into the top 16.
1.
Mark and Mark today, so we might have to use the surnames for a little while, just so there's no confusion. See a little shot there, Pete Williamson in the background from Liverpool. He's officiating this one.
Marking 1.
He seemed to rush that one a little. I know it was awkward queuing over that middle pocket, but that certainly was a chance missed.
So Selby, having opened the reds up, taking that plant on, he's now in, and he likes China, Selby, because last season he got to the semi-finals of both the ranking events here. This one in Shanghai, and also the China Open in Beijing. And in the summer, we saw him in the final of the new Jiangsu Classic Invitation Tournament, where he lost out 6-5 to Ding Junhui. Ding fluked to red and cleared up to win that decider. But Selby, as he always does, took defeat very well. He's a player that just loves snooker, loves playing, loves practicing, and of course, loves winning.
3. 4.
Well, able to put the black back in its own spot and just look at the reds. Plenty to go at here. We had the initial chance, missing that green off the spot, and well, Mark King won't be able to do that too often today, because Mark Selby's become a very, very accomplished, solid match player, and he'll relish these sort of chances. Normally takes them as well.
18. 19.
2 reds left of the black are awkward.
26.
The rest should be pretty straightforward.
27. 33.
Well, now then, he could play a little nudge into the red here, leave himself on the black and open those 2 reds to that corner. No, elected to hold.
$41. 42.
Now then, has he got the angle here just to run through and play a little cannon into these reds? Possibly. Off the cushion. Oh, he's gone between them. Just put too much side on there, on the cue ball. Any sort of nudge on that right on red is bound to be on one. Slightly out of position here. There's no way he'll take on a pot. I think it's just a safety.
Mark Selby, 48.
Well, good 48. He's given himself a 43-point lead in this opening frame. He's very consistent these days, David. It's not often he puts in a bad performance.
No, and it goes back to what I was saying. He just loves snooker. Doesn't find it a chore. He's still only, what, 25 years of age, Selby. And had such a good season, of course, last year. Won the Masters at his first attempt at Wembley. And then he came from 8-5 down to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan 9-8 and win his first ranking title, the Welsh Open. I think by the time he got to the Crucible he was a little bit burned out by his season, but that's to take nothing away of course from Mark King, who played very well to win that first round match. There's the view from the Balkan, courtesy of Hawkeye.
Just avoided the double kiss there, but he has left one on to the right corner. Just composing himself a little. Might play this with topspin actually and go back towards the baulk colours. I don't know the angle. He might just have the angle to stun over for the black. Could leave everything on though if he misses. Well, it's not bad. He's played it in such a way not to leave anything on. It's come out okay. Not too far away from the pot either. I bet he thought that was in actually with the cue ball going down the table.
Mark King used to be a Sunday League footballer, but I suspect the friendly kickerbouts that have been going on this week have stopped now after Graham Dott's injury. And if you weren't with us yesterday, just remind you, Dott broke his arm. He was in goal. And what was supposed to be a friendly didn't sound very friendly in the end.
Would have preferred the cue ball to go through the baulk colours there. I can't see Mark taking anything on. I think he'll just play a safety. Perhaps shot to nothing to the right corner. Found the gap with the cue ball though. Still plenty on here for Mark King in this opening frame.
Just a word about Steve Davis's in action against Dave Harold, and that first frame still in progress. I suspect it might be quite a long match, that one, but we'll keep you updated as Davis attempts to reach the quarter-finals.
Well, that's a pretty good shot. I think you can only see the red on the right-hand cushion there. I don't know if you can just play a safety off the one nearest the pink. I think it's slightly covered. Top cushion, trying to hit this one on the left-hand side of the table. Good hit. Has he covered it with the green? No, it's gone over the corner. Took a slight risk there, Mark Selby. He's looking to try and push the red to the side cushion. Chance here for Mark King then, to get himself back into this opening frame. Bit of work to be done.
One.
Well, play the yellow here, a deep screw shot to get himself on one of these reds behind the black. Well, he's taken the brown instead. Feels it's a better angle. Looks pretty good. Well, touch hard for the easier red behind the black. This is a toughie down the cushion. If it's if it takes the one on the cushion, stuns out for the black, well, it's got to be a good pot. As Mark looks on. Well, he's taking it. Bound to leave one on if he misses.
6.
Well, he stunned it. Very surprised at that. Why he didn't just drop it in. He had a perfect angle to come off the top cushion and get onto the black.
Blue ball.
Oh yeah, nominated blue.
Mark King. 6.
White's close. That's okay. So 37 the lead then, and 51 on the table. But the bulk colours at that end of the table, a good target to get in behind. Oh, he needs to cover this one. He hasn't done. So if Mark Selby can pop this red in and land on the colour, this first frame could be over. Well played. Red is out of position. No points for guessing the next shot. In behind the blue.
Blue ball. Mark Selby. 1.
So trouble for King, because of course if he leaves a red on, Selby here only needs one more red. So the man from Leicester, he's in the driving seat at the moment. A little bit of hit and hope here.
Tell you what, it's not bad. I think he'll settle for that.
Sure he will. So 38 in it, 43 on.
Oh, he's pushed it over the corner. Wow, what a chance this is. Not for him, for the other Mark, of course. Just 38 in it, 43 on. If he can get himself onto the black or pink here. Blue and brown will need some attention.
1.
He's played it pretty well. I'm just wondering whether he can just drop this black in. He might have to play a little cannon on the red here. Just push it away from the black. He's played it well. Again, it'll be the blue
8.
and the brown that's the problem. Don't think that brown is possible from the left hand side. Might go in the centre though.
9.
Well, this would be a good steal, David, considering Mark Selby's done all the running really.
16.
Yeah, these are the sort of frames King often wins. He's a real scrapper and always digs in, and if the balls go scrappy, often finds a way to win these frames. Needs all 6 colours here. As Mike says, the brown and blue, awkward.
I think he's got the angle on the yellow to get in behind the green. Yes, plenty there.
18.
He took that in the corner. Well, now there's a decision to be made. He's got a good angle on the green to come across and nudge brown and blue. Mark won't be too concerned at the moment, but if he pops this one in and does get the nudge, well, things could happen. I don't think Mark King will take this green on, actually. He might send it around the table for safety. Thought so. We've tried to get him behind the brown and the blue, but
Marking 18.
that wasn't too good a shot. At least get the green safe if you don't get the snooker. Well, there you go. He didn't need a second invitation.
3.
It was difficult to get on the brown though. And I can't see him potting this. Well, it doesn't matter, does it? Because he's 23 ahead with 22 on, of course. Mark King now needs a snooker. Evidence there, really, David, that Mark King should have made sure he got the green safe. It just seemed to me that he sort of got down and hit it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Mark Selby knocked in 2 great pots there, and he's going to win the opening frame.
Yeah, it was a loose shot, wasn't it, from King? And it's cost him.
12.
Frame that could have gone either way.
Playing a cheeky double.
Mark Selby 12.
It's gone the way of Mark Selby, so
Okay, Mark
it's the
Selby.
world number 4 from Leicester who wins a pretty disjointed opening frame, but of course they all count the same, so Selby is a frame ahead. And it's, remind you, first of 5 who will go through to the quarter-finals of the Shanghai Masters. The winner plays either Marco Fu or Andy Hicks. They're still in their opening frame. OK, we're going to take a short commercial break right now, and then we'll be back live at the grand stage with frame 2 of Mark Selby against Mark King. So Mark Selby leads 1-0, and while Mark King's just gone out the arena, just to update on what's happening on the other tables. No frames over yet. Neil Robertson looks like he's going to take the first throw against Ricky Walden. Robertson could do with some form. He's outside the 16 provisionally, so could do with a good run here. Marco Fu and Andy Hicks still going. It's quite close there in that one. And Dave Harold and Steve Davis are on the late colours, it would appear. Davis 55, Harold 53. That's going to be some battle, I suspect, as Selby gets frame 2 underway here.
Well, not too good a break-off shot. He has left a red on to this left corner, but at least he's got the cue ball close to the back cushion, which has limited Mark King's, well, attempted a pot just done round the black. He might attempt just to drop this red in for the black, actually, but it needs good cueing. You've got to make up your mind and then commit yourself 100%. Oh, what a pot. Unlucky.
1.
You could just see the downward strike in there, so he was able to get some sort of angle with the cue ball, but unlucky with the positional side. It deserved better. Well, I do believe he's snookered on all of the colours here. Can't get down for the green. I think he's snookered on the black. So I have to come off a cushion to hit something. It's not quite touching the red. Well, I think you can hit the black actually. Just needs to get the extensions out and things. You might need the full set.
Marking 1.
Not the best he could do, but he should have made sure he got the white on the top cushion.
Well, Harold, meanwhile, has potted the black against Steve Davis, so Dave Harold 1-0 up there. Neil Robertson did win that first frame against Ricky Walden. 4 tables here at the grand stage, last 16 day. Plenty of snooker for the fans to watch. Selby's gone for a double and he's got it. Don't forget he's a former World 8 Ball pool champion. Mark Selby's got all the shots. And as you see, up nicely on the black as well.
Eight. 9.
A couple of reds at the back of the pack here, one to the right corner. I think there's one that goes to the left. Excellent double to the centre pocket. Has got him in. Here we go, worth another look. Always difficult to judge on these tables. Sometimes if you get a soft cushion they can throw a wider angle. Played that well.
14. 15.
He's looking very sharp, David, as usual. Doesn't normally take him long to get going, does it?
No, he's turned things around in his career really well last few years. This could have worked out a little bit better.
Just recovered the situation.
Yeah, if someone had said 5 years ago Mark Selby would be in the top 4, it looked unlikely because his career had stalled a little bit. He'd made a good start. Indeed, here in Shanghai in 2002, China Open, he got to the semi-finals, but for whatever reason things went wrong, but he turned it around, of course, got to the World Final 2007, and then last season was one of the players of the season.
I suppose you can akin him to something like Justin Rose of golf. When he started so well as an amateur, turned professional, and same sort of thing, but he's come good as well as Mark King looks on. But Mark Selby, mentally, he's got himself onto another level.
$29.
Yes, all credit to him as well.
Indeed.
$36.
Perfect pace off the 2 cushions.
$37.
He's got a red to the left centre, which is available. Yes, he's so confident these days, Mark Selby, and it takes a good player to beat him.
$44.
Well, a touch further than he would have liked. Still on the red, but wanted to be straighter on it. I'm not sure whether he can just stun through the gap here for the black. Doesn't want a thicker contact or thick contact on the red near the bunch there. Just a glancing blow would be perfect. This could go wrong if he doesn't hit it right. Oh, he's played it perfectly. Clever shot that, because there wasn't much room there to manoeuvre the cue ball, I should say, through the gap. Good chance to take the second frame.
It's indication there, Selby, when things go slightly wrong, doesn't panic. Not one of these that bangs the table or bangs his cue. Just gets on with it. And one of the things I particularly like about him is that win or lose, he's always very gracious either way.
53.
He's a gentleman of the game. That's what it should be. He's also a very tough competitor.
60.
Right, there's another one out here. Nope.
61.
Well, he needs black and one more red. Unlucky. Chose to split them. And I don't think he's on anything. Well, there you see it, 67 ahead, 67 remaining. So Mark King can tie with reds and blacks. Well, if he'd got a decent split there, the second frame would have been over.
Mark Selby, 68.
So it's not quite over. 67 ahead, 67 on. King would need blacks with the remaining 5 reds, colours, and then the black will come back on the table.
Oh, what about the pink? Doesn't want that to go in. Oof. Well, that would have been a disaster if that had gone into the middle. I wasn't sure he was going to have a go at that red, but chose to play a safety. But he was trying to cover the red over the middle, and he hasn't done that. But he's also aware, it's quite clever, he's put the red near to the black. He's aware that Mark King needs blacks with all of these reds. And I don't think he can get on the black from here. He might have to take the pink.
1.
Well, not now. He needs some sort of colour here, but he'll definitely need a snooker after this. Well, it was fairly straight. He was hoping to be on the pink. And to take the green.
Four.
Well, 59 on. Possible 59 with blacks. 63 in the game.
5.
That's a clever shot. Unlucky. I think he was hoping to nudge the red away from the black spot. And taking the pink, he'll now need 2 snookers. That's not a bad nudge.
11.
Well, I don't know. Try and get on the red, nudge the red on the black spot.
12.
Well, that's bounced. That really has flown off the cushion. He's got himself out of position. He played on the pink to the left centre. And, well, he needs a colour. If it doesn't go in, this second frame is over. I think he's got to take the pink on to the centre. It won't go past the blue to the corner. This has got to go in.
Mark King 12, frame conceded, frame.
Well, he's clearly had enough of that. You can understand it. It was the 68 from Selby that did all the damage, and Mark King didn't really ever look like he was going to win that second frame after that break from Selby. So Selby 2-0 up and in control at the moment. We're going to take a short break now, and then we're back live in Shanghai with frame 3. Welcome back to the grand stage, Shanghai. As you see, both players have just left the arena. I can see that Neil Robertson's going well against Ricky Walden. He's won the first frame, looks like he's about to win the second, so a good start for the Australian. Dave Harrell took the first against Steve Davis on the black, so he leads 1-0. Marco Fu leads Andy Hicks 1-0. Fu, I suppose, is carrying hopes of a home victory, although, of course, he's from Hong Kong, not China. But Fu 1-0 up against Hicks there in the early stages. Remember, it's 5 frames the target for place in the quarter-finals. And later on today, live on Eurosport, we'll be watching the world champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Tough match for him against Joe Perry, who's found some form this year. And the other matches later on, Steve Maguire against Stuart Bingham. John Higgins against Ryan Day. Of course, they beat him in the World Championship at the same stage last season. And Mark Williams, who's outside the top 16, but looking good to get back in. He's up against Jamie Cope, the man who had the walkover, because, of course, Graham Dotter's withdrawn.
I think that, just going back to the Ryan Day-John Higgins match, that could be a tough match for John Higgins there, because Ryan played very well to beat Lian Wenbo 5-0. And we thought that Lian might be the star of this tournament, but it wasn't to be, so a toughie there for the former world champion.
That's right, but of course Ryan Day was runner-up here last year to Dominic Dale. In fact, was 6-2 up in the final before Dominic found some form to win 10-6. But Day then got to the semis of the China Open in Beijing, so obviously a pretty good traveller. We're just waiting for the 2 players, Mark Selby and Mark King, to return. Selby 2-0 up, remember, and looking good at the moment. And King hasn't really seemed to have adapted so far.
No, he had a chance in the first. He was unlucky in the second there when the white just flew off the side cushion trying to get onto the pink to the centre. But he's got to knuckle down, of course. But you know, Mark Selby are looking to push on. We say head-to-head. Mark King is 2-0 at the moment, so Mark Selby looking to pull one of those back. But we all know what an improved player he is, or has been over the last 12 months or so. A referee just in the middle there, Pete Williamson, just awaiting the return of the 2 players. So I think this next frame, as Mark Selby comes in, this next frame is a massive frame for Mark King. It could really dictate how this match is going to go.
He only just got through in the first round. He was 4-3 down to Jimmy White, but won the last 2 frames to deny Jimmy a place. Selby was very, very good indeed. He beat Judd Trump 5-1. Often the first rounds are pretty tough, players coming in cold, but he made, as I said earlier, 5 breaks of over 70 to win that match, so couldn't have played much better, in fact. And you see a little smile there. He's very relaxed as ever, just waiting for Mark King to return and we can get frame 3 underway. So here he comes, Mark King in a bit of trouble, trailing by 2 frames to 0.
Thank you. The 3rd frame, Mark King to break.
So Mark King breaking off in frame 3, needing to find some form here. 2-0 down. And Selby is going to be tough to beat from 3-0 down.
Good weight on the cue ball. Might be tempted with the red on the right cushion. No, he's looking to get in side of the pack, just below the pink here. Good angle. Looks a good pace as well. Perfect. Could be a touching ball, which would be easier. No, I don't think so. I think Mark's just asking our referee Peter Williamson just to recheck that. He hasn't called a touching ball.
Sorry, no, it's not touching.
Oh, perhaps he did, and Mark corrected him. Now he said it's not touching.
Yeah, of course, if it's touching, you can just play away, but it wasn't. So he just played off that red.
It's a pretty good safety as well, because he's prevented Mark Selby from coming off the left-hand side of the tail as we look. Could come off the edge of the pack for safety. That will open up a few of the reds, though. In fact, there might be a shot to nothing on here if he hits it well. Oh, just as well he hit that on the thin side. He found the gap with the cue ball. Well, he's got to avoid the double kiss. Well played. This looks pretty good. Looks very good. Mark King can only see one red. Side cushion into the side of the pack, just below the pink again.
Found a miss. Mark Selby 4.
Might go back. He's not moving, just in case. Well, that's a still frame. It's pretty good. Plenty of pace this time, but he doesn't want to go through the gap. No, it's okay. Well, it's not touching, so Mark can just, Mark Selby that is, can just play off this red. Put the white behind the yellow on the back cushion. Well, he was hoping to stop Mark King coming off this left-hand side of the pack as we look. He hasn't done that. Oh dear me, he's hit that far too thick. As the blue come to his rescue. Certainly not for the ones on the right hand side, but the one to the left is the easier pot. And the black is available. I think this will go because Mark's already had a look at the black. That was a poor shot from Mark King.
One.
Nicely held. He's just checking here to see once he's potted the black whether it goes back onto its own spot. If not, he'll go onto the pink spot. The thing is, the red that's next to the black, if it goes right up close to the red, that might not be able to be potted either. Well, I think that will spot. No problem. Plenty of room there. At some stage, we'd like to get the red out of the way, the one that's just above the black.
Nine.
Could have done with the cue ball just being a touch high up the table. I think he's okay though. Yeah, that's fine. He can run off the other red.
17.
That's better. That's cleared things around the black spot. Just look at the reds. Chance here for 3-0, Dave.
Yes, and one interesting thing about Selby this season, he has slightly quickened up, and he's cut out that swaying action that we've observed the last couple of years. He's just shortened his cue action. He was never slow in the old Eddie Charlton sense of the word, but he has just speeded up a little bit. It's something he's worked on in the summer.
Yes, good point, actually. It's one thing that I hadn't noticed. I know it's the first time I've seen Mike on the TV this week, of course, but yes, good point.
32.
I think one of the reasons, Mike, is he's in the Premier League, isn't he, where they've got the 25-second shot clock.
Yeah.
So you can't afford to hang around in that.
33.
Of course, it's a risk messing with your technique, because if it's working, you might say, well, why bother? But he decided to do it. He thought it was something that would work, and well, it seems to be.
Yeah, looks very fluent, doesn't he? In fact, he's at the top of the league in the Premier League so far. 3 weeks gone in that. He's been playing very well in that tournament, and he's playing well here this week. And yeah, it's a good point that you just made. Noticeable that he is a fraction quicker, and I think he's more fluent for it.
Yeah, that swaying that I mentioned, it was always before he struck the cue ball. You just see him slightly rocking from side to side. He's just about cut that out. There is a little bit of movement. You might be able to see it here. Pretty still.
He's obviously been conscious of that, and he's worked on it. He's worked on his technique.
And it just shows you that, as we look at King looking on, he wasn't content to just settle for reaching number 4 in the world. He wants to improve even more. Put the work in, and hopefully reap the rewards.
53.
As he played a bad one there. I don't think he's on this red. He played on the red, just the one furthest away, the two together, and he hasn't. That white has not bounced off the cushion far enough. And there was other reds open. He took a slight risk there to get on that red. There was a bit of area to play in, but you won't be too happy with that positional shot. Not leading 57-0. Can only play away safe now.
Mark Selby. 53.
Well, a good 53, and again an excellent safety. And Mark King here again, as you look at Mark Selby, Mark King again playing catch up. Could have done without the kiss on the green. It's left Mark a shot to nothing. He'll take on the red just right of the pink. And I would suggest if this goes in and he gets himself on a colour, it's 3-0. Ooh, that was close. Well, I think he's covered the red nearest the pocket. I'm not sure there's a gap there, but there was 1 or 2 on, of course. But it needs a good pot. Now then, Mark, let's see if you can pop this one in and get started. Oof, how close was that? I think that was nearer in than out.
It's almost like there's a goalkeeper in the pocket. But of course, not Graham Dott. He's learnt his lesson. Anyway, both close there.
Well, he's having to play a plant. Bound to be on the black if it goes in. Well played.
One.
Well, I would suggest that this frame is over.
Yeah, 57-0 up as he came to the table. So Selby looking good for 3-0. Just the start he wanted.
Puts added pressure on your opponent as well. This was not in the script for Mark King, so he's really going to have to knuckle down. And we've said this frame was important, but the next one, mightily important. If he goes into that interval at 3-1, fair enough, he can think about what's going on. But at 4-0, for me, he's got no chance from there. 3-1, he's got an outside chance. So Mark King knows that this frame is gone, and he just needs to put all his efforts into the next one.
16. Seventeen.
Well done. Nice little cannon.
24. 25. 32.
Well, it was the 53 that gave him the advantage. And he's duly taken the frame, so Mark Selby well and truly in control here. Well, Mark King's coming back, but 89 behind, 59 on.
Well, doesn't have much table time, has he? Just wants some practice, I think, Dave. Of course, no chance of winning the frame, obviously.
Nine.
This is making the wants to make the scoreline look a little bit more respectable in this frame.
Well, he once played a match against John Higgins where he only scored 11 points, which was obviously pretty embarrassing.
17.
In fact, that's still a record in a ranking tournament, best of 9.
18.
Well played. Can't blame him for coming up to the table and try and find some rhythm. He's got to think about the next frame. Very important indeed. The fourth frame will be for him. I really can't see him coming back from 4-0 behind.
25, sorry.
Yes, 25 of course, because he potted 2 reds.
57. 30.
Mark King's going to have to start putting some frames on the board pretty quickly, otherwise I'm afraid he might be on the way home.
$34. 39.
Well, there's nothing wrong with this, but it's not going to make any difference to the scoreline. So it is Mark Selby who does finally take the third frame. Mark Selby in control, leading Mark King by 3 frames to 0. So they have one more frame to come before the interval. It's a big frame for Mark King, and it's live right after this short break. Frame 4 underway, Mark Selby leading 3-0. Big frame for King. And a good pot from Mark King. And not a bad nudge on that red. Assuming, of course, the pink goes to the left corner. He's been chasing the game, really. He's been behind in every frame, so could do with a reasonable break here at the start of the fourth. Trying to get the reds open. It's gone wrong for him.
Seven.
Well, he thinks he can pot the right on one of the two. There's enough sticking out there. Well played. Good recovery. Touch foul on the blue. Might take the yellow instead. Still a couple of reds in the open there. You can play on. Well, he's elected blue. He might go into them. No. Just a soft stun for that red near the black spot.
13.
Be a difficult black down the cushion if he plays on the black. Might go back for the blue. Well, he's held for the black. But this looks pretty straight. And I'm not sure where the next red's coming from. He could have got out for the red to the right centre, but not from this angle. Well, he's trying to get there with a bit of power.
21. Mark King, 21.
Well, 21, but again, should have been more. Good weight on the cue ball.
Going well for Dave Harold. He's won another close frame against Steve Davis. 2-0 there. Neil Robertson leads Ricky Walden 2-1. And Marco Fu leads Andy Hicks 2-0. And the winner of the Fu-Hicks match plays either Mark Selby or Mark King for a place in the semis.
It needs to be thin. That was too thin. And the white's come back up the table. Missed call, but I don't think Mark Selby will take it. There's a couple of reds on here. It's been too loose, really, in this match so far. Mark wants the red. The two reds just to the right and above the black. He's looking at the right on one of those two. I'm not sure if he can get through the gap. There's the red in front of those two, of course, that's available. Depends what angle he has to try and get on the black. He'd like to play the one that's nearest to the pocket, if he can. Well played. Oh, look at that nice nudge on the black. Well, when it's going for you, you take full advantage. Got the perfect cannon. Just left himself a little bit awkward on the black, but the pot is no problem. It's the positional shot. He might be applying have to apply a little bit of side here on the cue ball. Might try and get on the red that he's nearest to at the moment. If he comes through the gap, he's bound to be on one to either corner pocket. Oh, that's perfect. So he's really bound to be on one to either. And things are going well for Mark Selby at the moment. It's got to be said that, again, Mark King has been pretty loose actually. He's played some poor shots to allow this man in. Can't afford to do that at this level. You get punished.
9. $16. 17.
I say he's looking good in this match, Dave. I think he's looking good for the title in this form.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, he'll be one of the favourites, and interestingly, the draw is slightly unbalanced. I think the bottom half of the draw, if you look at the players in it, likes of Higgins, Williams, O'Sullivan and Maguire, seems slightly tougher. It's all relative, of course, but slightly tougher than the top half, which is the half Selby's in.
Possibility of the repeat of the final for the Welsh Open? Ronnie and Mark? We shall see.
$25.
I'm sure Joe Perry might have something to say about that later on in the day. Yeah, Ronnie didn't have to play that well to beat Stuart Pettman, let's be honest, but I'm sure if Joe plays really well, then Ronnie will switch up a gear. Now then, he's played the cannon
22.
as Mark King looks on. As Mark Selby got this red at the back of the pack. I think so.
33.
Could be a bit straight on the black here. Not sure how he's going to get to the next red. There's nothing onto the centres. 2 cushions perhaps? Well, it's too straight on the black. Could screw back directly onto that red on the side cushion. That's a little bit careless to leave himself dead straight on the black. He needed some sort of angle. I don't think there's anything to the left centre, so he might try and cannon that red out that's on the right cushion there. Oh, well done. Well, a chance here to drop this in and finish on the black again. And he should have a better angle this time. Well, look at that. Bang in the middle. He is cueing well. But again, not a perfect angle on the black. This one needs some power to nudge these reds. Oh, what a great effort. Just got the first red too full. End of break, I fear, though. But, what, a 31-point lead? We'll expect him to try and get the white behind the green on the back cushion. Well, he's in full control of himself and he's in full control of this match.
Selby, 48.
Well, I thought, ooh, hang on, I thought he might try and get behind the green, and then he managed it. Oh, it's exactly what he didn't want to do. Well, it's pretty good weight on the cue ball, but he's pushed one towards the corner. Well, I think Mark Selby will be taking this on. He's got to avoid the others, of course, but in these sort of situations, just concentrate on the pot and let the rest happen. He might be playing safe off it. Didn't fancy taking the risk. That's a better safety. He needs a few more of those. Needs a thin contact hit. Touch on the thick side, but not bad. Brown and green in good position to get a snooker in behind, or at least leave it awkward. Still plenty on here for Mark King, David, but you know we've said the importance of this frame. 3-1, got a chance. 4-0, don't think so.
Yes, and every frame really has been the same. Selby's got ahead. It's been a little safety duel. He's won the safety duel. He's killed off the frame, and it's been largely because King's played some loose shots, as you were saying earlier. But if he can win this frame, all to play for after the interval.
Well, speaking of 3-0, look at this. Oh, didn't need that. There's a cracking shot. Never rains, it pours. This is difficult to get safe. It'd like to attack the three reds near the pink, but from the left-hand cushion, just drop on it dead weight. He might have to come off the back and side cushion here. Cracking safety. And, well, if Mark King doesn't get this absolutely perfect, again I think it will be 4-0. Because if he slides past these reds, there's reds waiting. This is not easy. He could possibly try and get on the one that's behind the black there, just near the top cushion. For, what's that, 3 cushions, possibly 4 cushions. But he's waiting to pounce and make it 4-0. Oh no, he's gone too wide.
Found a miss, Mark Selby.
Oh, a missed call, but it won't be taken. He was just trying to nudge the 3 reds there near the pink. Miscalculated the angle. I'm sorry to say, I can't see Mark Selby missing from here.
1.
And on the evidence of the play, David, Mark Selby would be good for his 4-0 lead.
Yes, he's looked very good in all departments so far. And as he did in his first round match against Judd Trump, who's a dangerous young player from Bristol, but Selby won that one 5-1.
7.
And it looks like he's going to make it 4-0 here very shortly. We'll need one of the 3 reds that are in the cluster.
15.
Actually, my maths has failed me, because this is effectively frame ball now. He's 57 ahead, isn't he, with 51 on? But it doesn't matter because he's got into them.
What a cracking shot that was. Well, we said he's number 4 in the world. He's chasing Sean Murphy at number 3. He's a couple of thousand points behind him. And another couple of rounds, and he'll go to number 3. Sean Murphy, of course, was put out yesterday by Andy Hicks. Good win for Andy Hicks, that. Andy's languishing down at number 60, I think it is, so he's in danger of dropping off the tour, so he needs a run here, which he's done.
Yeah, he's won the 3rd frame as well against Marco Fu, so it's 2-1 down there. Dave Harold's 3-0 over Steve Davis, and Robertson 2-1 over Ricky Walden. But our main match here, it's all about Mark Selby.
It's been very impressive, hasn't he? He got into that one. The adrenaline flown a little, do you think?
34.
And he's always so relaxed as well. I suppose at 4-0 you would be, but he takes everything in his stride. And we'll be going to the interval much the happier here.
It seems to have the same persona, doesn't he? Good or bad, the way things are going. It's refreshing to see.
Foul. Mark Selby 34. Mark King 5.
Well, I don't think King's going to play on this time. Indeed, he has conceded. And so it's a bit of a procession at the moment for Mark Selby. He leads Mark King by 4 frames to 0. And they're off for their mid-session interval. Mark King is going to need some comeback if he's to reach the quarter-finals of the Shanghai Masters. There'll be more snooker after the break. We'll be seeing Ronnie O'Sullivan later on here in Eurosport against Joe Perry, having just seen there before the break him going through to the 2nd round. We're waiting for Mark Selby and Mark King to return. It's 4-0 to Selby, so he needs one more for a place in the quarter-finals. Meantime, we can show the very provisional rankings, very provisional because it's factoring in the points that players have earned so far in this event. You can see O'Sullivan is over 4,000 points ahead at the top of the list. Very, very hard to catch him, sort of form we've seen. Maguire, of course, still in the event. Sean Murphy, though, has been beaten, so Mark Selby with a chance to go above him. And there you see Ryan Day still in the tournament. He'll be playing John Higgins later on today. But as you see, players have returned. So Mark King then, well, with a real mountain to climb, and the bad news for him is he's not shown much form so far, whereas Mark Selby has looked very good indeed. So I'm sure Selby will be expecting to clinch victory. The question is, what will the score be? Well, it may well be 5-0 as we wait for frame 5 to get underway. Steve Davis, who is another player from Romford, as is King, he's won the 4th frame against Harold with a break in 97, so 3-1 to Harold at their interval. It's 3-1 Neil Robertson over Ricky Walden, and it's 2-1 to Marco Fu, and he's in the balls here. Is Marco looking good to make it 3-1 in that one against Andy Hicks.
Well, came across that one slightly. Now then, Mark, let's see what you can do here. I'm sure you was disappointed with his performance in the first part of this match. He really needs to pick things up. Long way back. As always, just 1 frame at a time, that's all you can do. I'd like to get on the red, it's just above the black here, to the left corner. Ooh, slow down, unless the red right of the black goes. He's overhit that bar a long way. Well, as you can see, he played on the red above the black and he's gone too far. There is one to the yellow pocket. Could still take on the red. That's above the black there.
Marking 6.
Well, it sums up his day, really. He won't be happy with the way he's performed here. Especially having beaten Selby last time. He knew he could beat him. In fact, he's beaten him twice in 2 meetings. But for whatever reason, just hasn't happened for him today.
One.
Well, he was hoping to be on the blue to the middle, but it's onto the corner. And should pop this one in. Well, it jumped a bit, but he's managed to get himself on that red. The danger here, really, David, is Mark Selby taking his foot off the gas. He's 4-0 the lead. He's played well to get that lead. He needs to clinch victory pretty quickly. Sometimes those intervals can help,
7.
but they can also hinder.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd rather have stayed out there and just finish the job off. But as we've been saying before the interval, his attitude is so good. I expect him to knuckle down here and do his best to kill the match off.
$11. 12. 17. 18. 24.
'I don't think the black passes the red to the right corner. He can get on the black to the left. We'd like to remove that red that's right of the black, of course. I think he's going back for the blue. No, it's held for the pink, actually.
$31. 32.
Pink to the middle. Back for the red, right of the black. And that will open things up at this end. Well, he's playing on the other one, actually, to the left centre. Fair enough.
38.
It doesn't mind how he does it, he just wants to get over the winning line.
$39.
I think there's a couple of reds available there to the left corner. Could have done with a touch more on the cue ball.
44.
Break goes to 44. Ooh.
Mark Selby.
Yeah, it's just a little bit careless on the blue. Needed a touch more weight on that previous shot. Would have preferred to be a little bit further down the table, the white. Still an unexpected miss though. Well, now then, Mark King. Let's see what you can do here. It's difficult when you're 4-0 behind and you've been struggling a little bit for form to suddenly come out and find some rhythm, but that's what this game is all about.
One.
Well, first of all, prevent the whitewash and then try and claw your way back into the match. But if Mark King were to lose in this frame, he will erase this performance from the memory banks. It's not been good so far. Well, I could have done that white just bouncing a little bit high up the table. I think he played on the red that's right of the black. He's been unlucky there actually, because if he drops short he's on the red to the right corner as Mark Selby looks on, and if he goes a touch higher he's still on one. He's just finished bang in the middle. Anyway, but there. I don't think he'll take a red on here. I think he'll play away safe.
Mark King, 6.
Good white. Oh, you just saw in that previous shot the quick shake of the head from Mark King. And that's a great shot from Mark Selby. Yeah, Mark King was thinking, well, 6 off that visit. There was plenty more there to be got. And he has had his chances, Mark King. There's no doubt about that. There's been 1 or 2 openings for him, but he hasn't scored heavily enough. That man has been pretty solid. Caught that all wrong. Far too thick on the red. That could be his last shot in this year's Shanghai Masters.
One.
And again, I think the red right of the black spot will go to the right corner. If he gets high enough with the cue ball. He's played on the low one actually. Will definitely open up the red to that corner for this shot. Great chances, David, to clinch frame, but he can't be happy with his performance. There's no way.
No, he's played poorly, he knows that. Doesn't need us to tell him. And especially having battled through so well against Jimmy White, 5-4 in the previous round, he would have been hoping to keep that form going. But he's had chances in every frame, he's been in every frame. In this frame,
14.
he's had 2 good chances, he's made 6 each time, and obviously that's not enough.
15.
Just have it positioned a little bit as regards the next red. I think he'll hold for the one on the top cushion. Well, this is he's already ahead, so this is to make doubly short, to put himself into the last 8.
23.
Yeah, it's got to be said, fairly easy workout really for Mark Selby.
Yeah, and of course be delighted to get it over and done with as quickly as possible. Can have a rest up in the hotel, watch the second session matches and wait for the quarter-finals tomorrow.
31.
Now, is he trying to cut this in, or is he going to play the cross double? He's in good form, Mark Selby. None of us will be surprised if he lifts the trophy this week. Still a long way to go yet, but he is looking good.
41. 43. 46. 50.
So it's a very comfortable passage then for Mark Selby.
55.
First man into the quarter-finals. Been a few shocks and surprises in the week so far, but not here today. And he's finishing in some style. Well, what a way to finish for Mark Selby. It took just 80 minutes. He's beaten Mark King by 5 frames to 0. Excellent performance, Mark King. Well, he was in every frame. He had chances in every frame. He'll be very disappointed with the way he performed. But it's Mark Selby who is through by 5 frames to 0. He is the first man into the quarter-finals of this Shanghai Masters. And he'll play either Marco Fu or Andy Hicks. It's 3-1 there to Fu, so still a few frames to go. Now our next match live on Eurosport is at 12:45 UK time. That's 1:45 of course Central European time, and we'll be watching the world champion Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's up against Joe Perry. Tough match. Perry's just beaten him actually for the first time in the Premier League a couple of weeks ago, so O'Sullivan looks like he'll have to improve a little bit on the way he played in the first round, but he's up. That's our next match. That's 1:45 UK time, 1:45 Central European time. Mark Selby can put his feet up and go and watch that one. He's done very well here this morning. He's beaten Mark King by 5 frames to 0. So thanks for your company. It's been a pretty short match for us here. Join us later on for Ronnie O'Sullivan, but from me, David Hendon, and Mike Allett in Shanghai, it's goodbye.